Okay, so today we just wanted to share with you some numbers around disability and disability employment. It's just a short presentation, but a lot of people don't know the numbers. For those of you not experienced in the disability sector, we're talking more to employers here, you probably have to take most numbers you find here with a bit of a pinch of salt because there isn't very good data that's standardized. There's a lot of mixed messages and mixed data. But there is some helpful data that is indicative. So in terms of demographics for South Africa and people with disability, there are 7.5% of the population is classified as disabled according to Stats SA. And there's a more prevalence of disability amongst females than amongst males. Probably, Stats SA don't go into why, probably it's because women live longer than men, because you're tougher than us. And therefore, people tend to get more disabilities as they get older, if they're not born with them. That's probably why it's skewed in that direction, probably. The population of South Africa in 2017 was 56,720,000. So 7.5% of that is 4,220,250 people, approximately. So it's a big portion of people, a big part of the population. Of that, 1 million and just over 1,500,000 are of working age. And given that that stat was from 2011, there's probably more people of working age now who are disabled. The formal economy, when we look at disability employment itself, the formal economy has just over 9,748,000 jobs. That's excluding the agricultural sector. Of those jobs, 56% are accounted for within the top 1,000 largest companies in South Africa. So the top 1,000 largest companies account for a massive percentage of formal employment, which is unusual. That's much higher than in other countries. So if we assume that of the 0.9% who are formally employed, and that was as of 2013, that number, in 2011, it was 1.3%. So the number of people as a proportion of the formal workforce has been going backwards, not forwards, in terms of disability employment. As the formal economy grows, the percentage of people with disability who are employed is not growing equally fast. So that means that if it's 0.9% of those jobs, that means 50,867 people are formally employed with disability. That means of the people of working age, 96.6% are unemployed. That's a massive number. That comes to 1,460,000 people who are unemployed and of working age. The BBBE target is 2% of the workforce. There's some debate at the moment as to whether it's the 7.5% as Stats SA, which is what the BBBE legislation says. It needs to represent what Stats SA census finds. However, we're under the understanding, based on legal opinion we've sought, that there's an exemption currently still for disability, so it's still 2%. However, anticipate that changing. So if you're aiming for 2%, you might find the goalposts get moved sometime at some point. So we would suggest that you aim for more, because then you're not going to get caught out. And then if you hit 2%, all good. But it will change. It's going to change. But at the moment, it is 2%. Probably part of the reason that disability employment is low is there's a problem on the supply side. The supply side is very complex, very fragmented, very underfunded. And it's also because people with disability have been marginalized and excluded historically and up to the present day in a way that is more so than any other demographic. And it's not just South Africa, it's all over the world. But this is reflected in education. So only 5.3% of people with disability have attained a tertiary education. Of those, most of them still remain unemployed. So they get a tertiary education, they're still not getting employed. predominantly, those who go to tertiary are white, and people who are black and disabled are the least represented at tertiary level. This is where the numbers get tricky, because you can see those are two contradicting numbers. For those who can't see, the stat says that 24.6%, only 24.6% have some primary education, and 23.8% have no education at all. I would stress the second one. A significant number of people with disability never have any formal education at all. What's also disturbing is that 35% are not attending primary school or secondary school, and in rural areas, that's as high as 52%. So if you think that these people are not coming through the education system, and another stat, which I didn't put up here, but I believe is true, is that 60% of people with disabilities fall out before grade 10. There is a massive problem in terms of, obviously, work readiness. So children with disabilities are the most disadvantaged demographic in South Africa, and given how marginalized many people and segments of South Africa's population are, that's a striking statistic and a very scary one, and one we should all be looking to address. And obviously, education is critical. We can't fix this if we don't fix the skills supply side. And if we're going to fix the skills supply side, we need employers to help in this. Employers who want lots of ready-made people who are disabled, who just move into IT jobs or whatever, you're not going to find them. And if you're going to hit your EE targets, you need to work with the disability sector and people with disabilities to help get skills ready. It's a lot probably like it was back in when the BBBE legislation first came in, and we were trying to address, obviously, the marginalization of a huge proportion of the able-bodied population. We've seen in the long term that's been working, more or less. It could work better. We need to do the same with disability. So that's some stats, that's some numbers. I think the emphasis is obviously on people with disabilities and how marginalized they are. But obviously this is a problem for employers, because you're trying to employ people with disabilities. So also that reflects that you're not hitting your targets as well. So this is something we all need to work in and do together. Cool, thank you very much.